Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be trying new makeup. So I've got some of the newest items of makeup in my collection in front of me here. I've got a sample of the new Makeup by Mario foundation, a Pat McGrath Mothership palette, among other things, and I'm just going to be putting them on my face and giving you my first impressions as we go. So if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, please stick around. I'd love to have you join in on the fun. Let's get into some makeup. Okay, I went to Sephora and got a sample of Makeup by Mario's newest foundation. I believe it's called the Surreal Skin Foundation. Listen, my days of buying foundation, expensive foundation, on a wing and a prayer, hoping I got the right shade match and hoping that the formula works for me, those days are over. I have too many foundations in my collection that are just that little bit off in the shade or just not a formula that I'm crazy about because I went ahead and spent the money on it without trying it first. I will say I have the shade 2N. The shade match generally looked pretty warm, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too warm on me. So whenever I try a new foundation, I typically will blend it in with a brush just so I can see the amount of coverage and how it builds. This is my e.l.f. buffing foundation brush. This is like my favorite brush in my collection, and I'm pretty sure it's like $3 at Target. So fantastic brush for foundation, but also for like cream bronzer and contour. By the way, I should have said, I only have skincare on my skin. I didn't put my Becca primer on today. I know you all have been seeing that one a lot right now because it's in my project pan. I wanted to see what the foundation's finish would be like without any extra help. So without that glowy primer underneath. So far, it's looking nice. I still see a little bit of a luminous finish to it, but it's definitely not dewy. I don't think I would consider this a dewy foundation. If anything, it's maybe a demi matte. Let me go ahead and put some more on. And it's also more coverage than I thought it would be. It's actually pretty, would we say medium to full maybe? I'm thinking the shade match might be spot on for my winter shade. Yeah, if my skin tone were to get even a touch deeper, this would be too light. Just seeing myself in the viewfinder here, it looks a little bit ghostly on the camera, but it does pretty much match my neck. So maybe I am just a more ghostly shade than I think I am. Okay, I'm gonna come closer to the camera so you can see. That is one kind of light layer, and I can see that it's clinging onto some of the dry patches around my nose, which is not uncommon for me. A lot of foundations do that on me. Maybe one to try again on another day with a damp beauty blender to see if I can get a little bit of a more hydrated look. Or if I put my typical kind of glowy hydrating primer underneath, I wonder if that would help that kind of dryness that I'm seeing. I don't hate the finish. I'm just gonna go over it with my hand quickly. I'm not hating the finish, but I'm not sure it's wowing me either. Things are just looking a little bit dry for my taste and very matte. I don't think I was expecting such a matte look from this foundation based on the images that I've seen, but that's how it's looking on me. This dry patch here is looking really, really bad on my nose. Okay, so not sure on the foundation quite yet. We'll have to come back and see how it's looking by the end. Maybe if it warms up to my skin a bit, it will have a chance to kind of settle in a bit more and not look as dry. I don't have a new concealer, so I'm just gonna use my Glossier Stretch up under my eyes quickly. I'm gonna go in with a lip balm next because my lips are always feeling pretty dry by the time I get to this step. I was gifted some products from By Terry. They sent me their Baume de Rose lip care. They also sent their Brightening CC serum in the shade For Sunny Flash, which I think is like a bronzing serum. I'm actually going to save this for another video, I think. And the By Terry Brightening CC Liquid Blush in the shade 1 Rosy Flash. I might use this for my blush today. But I wanted to open up the lip balm so that I can get some moisture on my lips. Just as an FYI, some of these products are gifted and some of them I bought myself, so I'm trying to flag all the ones that were gifted. I'm not on any brand PR lists, but I am on some of the like influencer marketing agency programs, things like Octoly, which is now Skeepers, I think, and Influencer, if you've heard of those. So I will make sure I've designated down below in the description which products are gifted and which ones I bought myself. The products from By Terry were gifted in exchange for review. Here's what the Baume de Rose packaging looks like. It's really luxe and nice. Nice little glass packaging here. Ooh, very pretty baby pink shade. And definitely smells like rose. So let's try some on. I'm just gonna go in with my finger. Looks really nice. It's sort of like a thicker Vaseline texture. If you've ever used not regular Vaseline, but the little Vaselines, the Vaseline Intensive Care, it reminds me a bit of that, but just a little bit softer feeling. That's nice. I'll have to see how my lips are feeling by the time I'm ready to put a lip product on, but so far feeling very nourished and hydrated. Let's go in with bronzer next. So this is not a brand new product. It's been out for a couple of months and I've had it in my collection for a couple of months. I was sent it for a review at the end of 2022, but I wanted to pull it back out and use it again because I've only used it 1 or 2 times. This is the Merit Bronze Balm in the shade Clay. I'm actually going to use the same brush I use for my foundation and just grab some product off of the top. From what I remember of this, it was very sheer and very glowy, but buildable. So I'm gonna try it again today. Oh, that's actually looking really nice so far. Maybe this will help with the very, very matte look that the foundation is giving me too, because this is quite a dewy emollient formula. I'm gonna take that across my nose as well. I'm feeling very ghostly. I'm not sure if it's the foundation shade or just the overexposed lighting or what, but I need some color in my face and fast. I think the shade of this could be better. It's looking a little bit yellow to my eye. Yeah, it's very light. So if you have a light complexion, the shade Clay, I think would actually be a good shade match for you. I believe this is the second deepest in the entire range, which kind of blows my mind. I can't imagine what the lightest shade must be like because this is very light and subtle. But I'm thinking that it looks pretty. I don't remember loving this the last time that I tried it, but again, maybe just paired with that more matte foundation, I'm feeling like it's giving some moisture back to my skin and making my skin look a little bit more alive and just less dull. I'm opening up this By Terry Brightening CC Liquid Blush to see what it looks like. Oh, the packaging is super cute. I think I mentioned, but I got the shade 1 Rosy Flash, and it says it's a click brush. So I haven't used a blush with a click brush before, but we're gonna try it out together. Oh, the brush is really big as well. So let's just see how we go here. Okay, a little bit seems to be coming out. Do I just put this right on my face? Should I grab a brush? I guess I'm gonna grab a brush. This is a Spectrum and KJH02 brush, which you can see I love using for my cream and liquid blushes. So I'm just gonna grab that right off the end. I don't know, something about using this brush right up against my face just worries me. I feel like it's gonna pick up what's underneath it and might not be the most hygienic option either because you can't really wash it. I'm gonna try to get some more product out. So I think I'm gonna pump out some product. I'm gonna brush it onto my hand, and then I'm going to apply it using my other brush. Oh, I have to like break the brush for it to come out. This is an odd packaging system here. Okay, got some on the back of my hand, so let's try this again. I don't know if you can see this, but it looks like there's pigment that is suspended in the product that hasn't been like mixed in. The formula itself feels very lightweight and liquidy, and it definitely has some shine or pearl to it. I think that looks pretty. I think it reminds me in the concept a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Pinkgasm blush that has a similar kind of rosy shade, but it's very, very glowy and highlighty. I think I applied a little bit more on this side than this side, so I'm just gonna go in and grab a bit more. I'm gonna take some across my nose. I definitely think I can skip highlighter with this blush. My cheeks are looking very highlighted and luminous. What do we think? I definitely like how it just kind of sinks into the skin. It doesn't feel like there's any product on top of my skin whatsoever, so it is kind of like that serum texture. I'm just not sure I'm a huge fan of this click brush delivery system. It feels like the wrong kind of brush to apply this product with. If anything, I feel like this might even just be better with fingers to kind of pat in like this. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to use this a couple more times to see if I can find my preferred way of applying it. I think the product itself is pretty. It's definitely got a lot of glow to it, maybe more than I'm used to wearing on a day-to-day basis, but in the viewfinder, it looks really nice. I think in real life, it's definitely looking a little bit sparkly, but I don't hate it. Okay, editing Sarah here. I'm just inserting some clips that I took for an Instagram reel where I used the click brush on this product, and it actually came out pretty well. So I just wanted to include that so that you all saw that it does work. Okay, let me go do my eyebrows. I'm just gonna use my regular old Kosas products, and then I will be back to do some eyeshadow with you with a palette that I am super excited to use. Okay, quick update. So I filled in my brows using my Kosas Brow Pop in medium brown. Then I went over with the Kosas Air Brow in medium brown for some volume, and I set all of that with the Kosas Air Brow in clear. And then I primed my lids with my Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I set my T-zone just a little tiny bit with my Kosas Cloud Set powder, but I did not set under my eyes yet, just in case there's any fallout from the eyeshadows. I would like to be able to clean that up. I have here the Pat McGrath Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction palette in its stunning packaging. A moment for the packaging here. I received this as a gift for Christmas. So I've used it one time. I used it on Christmas Day and decided I would save it and use it with you all the next time I used it. So here we are. This is my first Pat McGrath Mothership palette, but not my first Pat McGrath palette. I have two of her holiday palettes. I didn't get the one from this past holiday season, but I have the Celestial Divinity and the Celestial Odyssey palettes. So here is Moonlit Seduction. It is really honestly a stunning neutral palette, but it also leans a little bit purpley in a way that I think is super easy to wear. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do. I don't really have a look in mind, but we're just gonna play a little bit and I will show you the process. Actually, I forgot to curl my eyelashes, so let me go ahead and do that first. Do you curl your eyelashes before eyeshadow or after? I always see people curling them after eyeshadow, but if I do that, I feel like I just mess up the eyeshadow and I end up taking off the eyeshadow that I just put on because of where the curler hits my eyes. I also haven't taken these stickers off yet, so let me just give you some satisfaction there. I think there's one on the inside too. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start with this shade here. I also don't know the shade names, so very sorry about that in advance, but it's this kind of more neutral of the two matte purple shades, and put that in my crease to start. And some of the complaints about this palette were that there isn't like a great transition shade for all skin tones. Totally understand that. I do wish that there was kind of like a bronzery kind of tan shade, but I'm not hating this shade as a transition. I think that looks pretty nice. These creases under my eyes are driving me a little bit nuts. That's okay. We will set my concealer after I get done with the eye look. Next, I'm going to go in with this deepest matte shade. It's kind of like a really cool toned brown with a lot of gray in it. And I'm just going to put this at the outer corner for some depth. Oh, wow. That went on a little bit heavier in pigment than the other matte shade. Kind of trying to blend that and soften it a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of patchiness over here, and it might just be down to the way I'm applying it, but it seems to be blending okay if I kind of work at it. Let me grab my other brush. Just try to blend that edge a little bit more. This side is looking a little bit deeper than this side, so I'm just going to go back in. Let me switch my brush actually and see if it's a brush issue. I'm going to take a small kind of, still a blending brush, but a little bit more dense. This is the e.l.f. Eye Contour brush, and I'm going to see if that makes a difference for this outer corner space. Wow, again, this matte shade just is applying really dark on me. It's not the same kind of experience as that lighter transition shade where I just kind of tapped my brush in and got a really smooth, even layer. This one is going on very dark and a little bit difficult to blend. It could be the primer underneath. It could be that my eyelids are just dry, which honestly is probably true. But having a little bit of trouble with that deepest matte shade. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there and hope that these shimmers can cover a multitude of sins. Let me actually pick these up on my fingers quickly. Okay, so there's a more like bronzy shade. Wow, those swatch just so nicely. There's a bronzy shade and then there's a more like shimmery, silvery, taupey shade. I'm liking the look of both of them, but I think for today, here's some swatches on my hand for you. Ooh, that taupe shade is just stunning. I think I'm gonna go in with that one. I'm gonna try it with a brush first because I've heard that Pat McGrath shimmers are made to be picked up with a brush, but I can always go back in with my finger after and reapply to intensify the shade if I feel like I need to, but let's see how they pick up with a brush. So taking that silvery kind of taupey shade on a flat brush. I feel like this shimmer is really gonna save the day and cover over any patchiness. Don't get me wrong, that's looking really pretty, but I just kind of, out of curiosity, want to see what happens when I apply with my finger. Oh yeah. I think the finger application is the way to go with Pat McGrath shimmers. Oh, look at that. It's like molten metal on my eyes. Wow. That is beautiful. Let me just go straight in with my finger on the other side. What a lovely shade as well. Like you would look at it and think Oh, it's just gonna be another kind of gray silver, but it's actually really stunning. Brings a lot of light to the eyes, I think. Would be gorgeous on everybody's eye color and everybody's skin tone. Lovely. I am loving that. So let me just go back in with my brush and make sure that that's blended at the edges here. I think the shade is stunning on its own, but I kind of want to play with these special shades just for fun. I wore this shade, it's kind of like the blue to purple to brown shift. I wore that one on Christmas Day, and I just put that shade alone all over my lid with some of the mattes, and it was really, really beautiful. But I do think these are meant to be more like topper shades. So let me see. This more like champagne kind of color one might be nice, or maybe this one here in the corner that seems to have like a white to pink to blue shift. Let me see here. That's what that one looks like. Really pretty icy. Here's the more champagne one. Wow, I love that color a lot. And then there's a more gold kind of topper as well. What do we think? You might be yelling at me through the screen, but unfortunately I can't hear you. I guess I'm just gonna go with my gut and tap a tiny bit of this icy one just in the center. Can you see that? It added just a little bit of like a purple frosty shift. I don't think that gray kind of gunmetal taupey shade needs one of these toppers, but wow. Wow, that is pretty. Let me get closer so you can see, but that is really very stunning. I feel like I could just play with this all day and just keep trying different combinations of like toppers and just keep adding and adding and adding to this eye look, when probably less is more. But I do want to do an inner corner shade, so I'm going to take this light kind of champagne color on a little brush to go in my inner corner. Let's see, I guess for the lower lash line, I'm gonna start with this first transition shade that I used and then go in with that dark matte again. Going in with the dark matte on my smaller brush, just right up against the lash line. I don't think I'm gonna add eyeliner to this look because I feel like it's just plenty of drama as it is. So kind of lining my lower lash line with that deepest shade. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see, but I did get a little bit of fallout on my cheeks here. So I'm gonna go try to just blend that away with my foundation brush. I'm gonna reapply concealer under my eyes and set it this time, and then I will be back to do mascara with you. Okay, I'm not sure how successful I was, but I did try to kind of blend away some of the glitter fallout and touch up my Glossier concealer under the eyes. I'm now gonna go in with mascara. This is the Bite Beauty Upswing mascara that is unfortunately no longer available, but I'm gonna do a few coats of this on my top and bottom lashes. Okay, so mascara is on and it's time for lips. If it were just me, I would keep the lips neutral to go with this dramatic eye look, but for the sake of the video and trying some new makeup, I'm going to put on the Isamaya, or is it Isamaya, LIPLACQ Maximizing Lip Serum in the shade Black Veil. I got this at the end of 2022, so I have used it a couple of times, but I'm gonna try it on for you now. You can see it's a black gloss. It does have some glitter in there, but it's sort of magical because whoever puts it on, it tends to kind of wear off. The black lip gloss part kind of wears off into a nice sort of berry red shade that is flattering to your complexion. So it looks a little bit different on everybody. It's not as scary as it looks when you first see it here. I'll show you. I'm a little bit closer, so I'm gonna kind of wipe away some of that By Terry lip balm, which by the way, left my lips feeling really, really nice. And then I'm gonna go straight in. It smells like cotton candy. I forgot about that. It smells really good. So it kind of goes on streaky to begin with. Remember, this isn't gonna last, the black aspect of it isn't gonna last. It's not like you're putting on a black liquid lipstick or something like that. So the black pigment is suspended kind of unequally throughout the lip gloss, which is why it's gonna look streaky when you first put it on. So there we are. Looking good. So after about a minute or two, this is a plumping gloss, so it's gonna start kind of tingling my lips a little bit. The plumping is not too intense. I've definitely used lip plumpers that I absolutely hated because they just hurt. This one isn't quite to that level, but you definitely feel it start to plump your lips, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing for a minute or two, and then I will come back and show you the color that it leaves my lips after it's had a chance to set in a bit. Actually, while we're waiting for that to happen, let's review what I tried today. So, Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. I'm still not super obsessed with how my skin looks with this on. I don't think I look like I have surreal skin, but I also don't think my skin looks bad. It just looks a little bit dry in places, especially around my nose, and is very matte. I did put a tiny bit of powder just between my brows here and on either side of my nose. So I purposely mattified that part, which is fine. I don't think my skin looks bad. I just don't really know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting something a little bit more like the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, which is very radiant, luminous. It is a demi matte finish, but it has a lot of glow to it, and I'm not really getting the same kind of effect from this foundation. They're different products, right? So they aren't going to be the same, but I think that was my expectation. I am going to try this foundation again though with a glowy primer underneath and using a damp beauty blender to apply and see if I like the finish of that a little bit better. That's usually what I would do if I had kind of like a demi matte to matte foundation anyway. That's what I do with my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. And let's see if I like the results of that better. So maybe I can report back after I've tried that out. Yeah, depending on your preferences, maybe if you have oily skin, you would really like this because it's not quite as matte as some of the other foundations that are usually marketed toward oily skin, but it's not gonna slip around on your face or make you look too greasy or anything. If you have dry skin though, you might just be conscious, get a sample, try it out, try some different methods of application and see if it works for you before buying the full size. Then we have the By Terry Baume de Rose, super nice lip balm, very luxe packaging. It was really nice to apply. I like the smell of roses, so I think it's lovely. If you don't like the smell of roses, absolutely steer clear because you definitely can smell it. Obviously, I only wore this while I was applying my makeup, so I can't speak to its moisturizing or nourishing properties, but I will try wearing this overnight and seeing how my lips feel in the morning. But from today, everything was good. I felt like my lips were moisturized, hydrated, smooth, really nice to use. No complaints. Then I pulled back out my Merit Bronze Balm in the shade Clay. I don't really see as much of a bronze as I did when I first applied it. I mean, it's definitely still there on my skin, but this is something that I would probably set with a powder bronzer just because it is so incredibly emollient. Let me actually run this on the back of my hand so you can see. Do you see that shine and how dewy it is? It's very almost serum-like, even though it's in a stick form. So if you have dry skin, you're gonna like it. If you like a more no makeup, very light makeup look, you're gonna like it. If, on the other hand, you have oily skin or you like a more glam look, you like your bronzer to come through pretty strongly on your face, I am not sure if this would be the product for you. So I can see myself using that product on a more no makeup day. If I was gonna do a glam look like this, it probably wouldn't be my first choice of bronzer. Also, the shade range is a little bit concerning. If this is the second shade, that is very, very light. So I'm not familiar with the entire shade range, but I do wonder if they are catering to deeper skin tones with their shade range, if this is the second deepest shade. Again, just something to keep in mind. It doesn't mean that it's a bad product. It just means you might want to be aware of your own preferences and the shades that you like to wear in bronzer before going in and buying this one. Then we have the Pat McGrath Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction palette. I did have a touch of trouble with this deepest matte shade looking patchy on my outer corner, but other than that, the palette was lovely to use. This matte shade here as a transition shade went on like a dream. It was very smooth and easy to apply. The shimmers, stunning. This taupe shade that I have on my eyes, I think is absolutely beautiful and has kind of blown all my other taupe shimmers in my collection out of the water. These toppers are super fun. I think I'll need to play around with them a little bit more to really get the full effect of what the palette can do. Definitely going to be playing with this a ton, so let me know if you would like to see maybe like a 3 looks 1 palette video with this. But obviously it's a Pat McGrath Mothership palette, so my expectations were really high. I am a little bit disappointed with the way that this shade performed, but I'll try it again and just make sure that it wasn't, you know, something to do with my eyelids or my application techniques. But other than that, gorgeous palette. I absolutely love the eye look that I got out of it today, and I can't wait to play with this again and again and again. The By Terry Brightening CC Liquid Blush in the shade Rosy Flash. This is something I'm gonna have to play with again as well. I think it's fine. I think my cheeks look pretty in the viewfinder. When I look at them in real life though, I do see some kind of sparkles to this in a way that I don't typically like to have in my blush. But mainly it's the component that it's in. If this was in any other kind of component, if it was in something like the Rare Beauty blushes or even the M Cosmetics Serum blushes, something like that, I think it would make a little bit more sense to me. But the fact that we're clicking this out and then we have this little kind of chubby flat brush to apply it with, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the kind of product that it is, in my opinion. I get what they're doing, right? They want you to be able to just throw this in your bag and take it with you on the go. But I would almost never apply blush with a flat brush like this anyway. So the fact that that's how they've chosen to deliver the product isn't my favorite. Jury is still out on the product itself. I don't think it's a bad blush by any means. I think it looks pretty, but am I going to choose this over all the other blushes in my collection? I'm just not sure. And finally, I think you can see that the Isamaya lip gloss has kind of settled now into a really nice berry shade. I think this is a very pretty wearable way to wear a deeper lip shade. I would be much more likely to wear this than, you know, a deep berry liquid lip, for example. So I really love and enjoy this product. I don't think the plumping, tingling effect is too overwhelming or intense. It's pretty much gone now since I've been talking and completely subsided, and my lips feel very comfortable. I will say this is not the most hydrating lip product because it has those plumping properties in it. It does leave my lips feeling a little bit on the dry side after wearing it or wearing it repeatedly for multiple days, but the finish of it, the way it kind of adapts to the natural color of your lips as it's kind of bringing, you know, the blood to the surface of your lips to create a really nice flattering berry shade, I think is really cool. I personally really like the gloss. It's not something I would reach for every single day, but definitely something that's fun to have. And also I like the way it wears throughout the day. So you start with a nice, you know, deep berry shade, but then as it wears off your lips, it just fades into a softer, kind of more neutral lip color, natural lip color kind of a tone with a gloss. So I like that because I don't feel as committed to wearing the deep shade and having to reapply throughout the day if it leaves my lips looking nice after a few hours of wear. So that's everything. I hope you enjoyed watching me try some products that are new to my collection. Have you tried any of the products that I mentioned? Please let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on them. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these products or any ideas for other ways to use them in future videos. And thank you so much for watching. My next video should be up in the next couple of days, so if you would like to see more from me, make sure you subscribe. Give the video a like if you liked it. All of those things really help my channel out and I would really appreciate you doing them. Other than that, I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.